everyone, this is Rob, Sigma 3 Survival School, and welcome back to another edition in our Survival Trapper's Bible. And today I want to talk about the squirrel pole. And the squirrel pole is one of the really good traps that will work for getting squirrels, and then will also work in an urban environment for other types of animals. And it's basically relying on the animal's laziness to draw them in. So hang tight and we're going to show you everything that you need to know about the squirrel pole. All you need for a squirrel pole is a large kind of long stick, something maybe about the size of your arm, and you want to find a good tree location to put it. And it is such a simple trap to construct. All you do is stagger wire snares or primitive cordage, we'll show you that in a second, at different lengths along the pole. And what happens is the animal will walk up the pole because it's easier than going straight up the tree. They'll get caught in the snare, and then it'll, catch around their neck, and they'll freak out, and then they'll fall off of the pole and they'll strangle themselves. One of the many reasons that the squirrel pole is such an important survival trap to know is because squirrels are pretty much worldwide, guys, especially here in North America. There are a ton of environments out there that have tree rats, and it doesn't really matter what species it is, they all have very similar habits, so you can use this same trap in order to get them in a multitude of different environments. Notice how we stagger these snares, some in the middle, some off to the side, in case the squirrel wants to run to the side of the tree. Making a wire snare is a very simple process. All you need is a length of snare, probably between 16 and 20 inches long. You're going to take one end, just make a small loop, and then twist the wire around. I can't emphasize enough how important wire is for trapping. You can do it with primitive cordage, you can do it with bank line, paracord, all these different products, but nothing will beat wire, so why not carry it? Once you make your loop, then all you've got to do is feed that loop back through. Shape your wire. After you've made your snare loop, then all you're going to do is come back and attach it to the tree. Just wrap the wire around several times, and you want to leave it loose enough to where it'll still keep the loop in the spot that you want it, but will also freely rotate down once you catch the animal so that it hangs itself at the underside of the trap. One of the reasons that snare wire is so important to have is because most of the time, in most states and in most seasons, you cannot carry modern traps with you. You can't carry around a bag of snares or conibears and things like that without having to worry about trouble from the game warden. But you can take these simple trap trigger systems, combine them with some wire, and you have traps that are almost as effective as some of your modern counterparts out there. So, this is a tool or a commodity that you can carry in any environment, pretty much anywhere in the world, and you're not going to get much suspicion from law enforcement and people who might write you a fine for practicing. Another great thing about the squirrel pole is that it is great for urban survival trapping. You can catch your neighbor's cats in these things. It's all animals are lazy inherently, so they're always going to take the easiest route. So you can even bait these things for larger animals, use larger poles, and so keep that in mind if you ever find yourself in a shit hits the fan situation and you have to live in the city off what's available. This would be a good go-to trap to choose.
Okay, say you're in a situation where you don't have any wire and you still want to set traps. You can do it the way our ancestors did. Our ancestors used handmade cordage for these traps, and it worked well. But to do it with cordage, you need to do a couple extra things. Cordage won't hold itself up like wire does, so we have to do that ourselves, and I'll show you how to do that here in a sec. All right, we're going to set a snare here, a cordage snare. In order to do that, we need to find some way to hold it open. So what I'm going to do is just cut a slit in there, another one in here, like so, and then I'm going to take this little stick, cut a little section off of it, and slide it down in there. We're going to take this stick and slide it in over here on this side. About like so, and we'll adjust it after we get our snare tied on there. Now to make our snare, we're just going to tie an overhand knot in a loop. Like so. We're going to double it over. Then slide the end of our string through that doubled over hole, right? Right here. We'll tie our snare to the tree. Now that we got our snare tied to the tree, we're just going to hook it on these little loops here. Then adjust our snare size so that it's at head level of the squirrel. And it is set. Squirrel comes running up the tree, runs through his head through there. That comes off the sticks, strangles, fights, falls. He's hanging and dead.
All right, so that was our squirrel pole done with modern wire as well as cordage. It can be done completely primitively, but it is definitely to your advantage to carry wire for a lot of reasons, guys. So get out there, go try some of these traps, and get that dirt time. And as always, we appreciate your support and everything that you do for Sigma 3. You guys make us what we are. And stay tuned for the rest of the Survival Trappers series.